What's up, Stans? This is John, and we are doing our live discussion on Dreamcatcher. I decided to jump on here a little early. Original plans were to kind of do this broadcast earlier in the day, but of course, life happens. So things got pushed back. So I decided to jump on here early to talk about, my favorite subject in the world, Dreamcatcher. Dreamcatcher, for all of those out there that probably never heard of them. It's it's really, really, really a shame that they're not as popular as they should or could be. But I'm going to get into that while later. While a lot of that really doesn't matter. So I do have a confession to make. I'm addicted to watching Dreamcatcher reactions. Watching people experience Dreamcatcher for the first time is like an obsession for me because uh whenever you see a person, a reactor, or anybody who's really not a reactor react to Dreamcatcher the first time, all of their experiences seem to kind of be in line. First, they're kind of caught in, depending on what song they listen to. If they listen to Boca, if they listen to Scream, if they you know listen to Odd Eye, they get pulled in by the uniqueness. They all say, oh, I didn't know that this was K-pop, and K-pop can sound like this. um K-pop has many different levels of their rainbow. Everybody knows this, that you can get different sorts of feels and genres and everything when you listen to K-pop. That's why I think that a lot of maybe it might be time to kind of dropping the K-pop label, so to speak, because whenever you talk about pop, you talk about popular music, and I just really don't know if K-pop, all of K-pop, fits into that. You might have to maybe shed that label at some time and just kind of start labeling your artists into the genres that they can fit in. Rock, rap, rack. There's a new genre out there, music. It's called rack. Um, Rock, hip hop, all those other kind of things. You're trying to shed that label, and you might be able to reach some places that you probably never were able to reach to before. But again, I digress. Watching people react to them is really fun because they really kind of get uh blown away, taken for a loop. They're really just captivated by what Dreamcatcher puts out there, and music and everything. They really are surprised, and it is a gateway drug into K-pop. I would say, like, Dreamcatcher is a gateway drug. If you ever want to convert somebody into listening to some K-pop, or even kind of opening their mind to it, show them some Dreamcatcher, because first of all, it will subvert their expectations. They won't be expecting what they're hearing, and it naturally broadens their mind once they kind of listen to it and say, oh, wait a minute, I didn't know it can sound like this. And then they're more open to other different types of music, that they would be able to accept, and with an open mind. Because a lot of times, people might listen to something or hear about something, and they go, well, I won't like that because of either what other people have said about it, or what they've heard about it, or maybe even just the image. There's a judgment that kind of goes on whenever somebody talks about the particular music that they listen to. They're afraid that they're going to be judged by other people. You listen to rock, so you must be a metalhead, or you listen to hip hop, so you must be a hood or whatnot. And that really is not even the case, because sometimes music, even particular songs in a genre you don't really listen to a lot, can pull you in, and you can go, you know what, I like that. Song like Achy Breaky Heart, it's catchy. Not my type of genre, but it's catchy. So, of course, that's why it was really popular, and it was such a big hit, because even though it was a country genre, a lot of people found it catchy. A lot of people found it, easy to listen to as far as country goes, and it appealed to them. You talk about popular songs by Pharrell, Happy. That song is just like it's really hard to kind of really fit that song and even into a genre, but it appealed to a lot of different people. Again, like I said, when you expose somebody to Dreamcatcher and everything, they kind of get their mind broadened and they're able to kind of receive and take in different types of different types of music, and they're able to be open to listen to something else in K-pop. So it's like a gateway drug. Definitely can get somebody hooked. And if you are, an insomnia, you know how it feels to kind of get hooked into Dreamcatcher, because you know the ladies they're dynamic, they're talented, they're beautiful, they are just fun to watch, and they're all artists, tried and true. They have the talent, the vocals, the dance, the acting. When they pull off acting in a video, it's they're the only ones that can really pull off the story, which we're going to get into a little bit later about my theory as far as with the music videos and how they're all connected. But again, my addiction is watching people react to Dreamcatcher songs for the first time, because they all have similar reactions. Well, what? I didn't know K-pop could be like this. Wow, this is really different and unique. And they're not doing anything that other people haven't done before. They're just doing it in an arena that is really not appreciative of them. But I am excited about Dreamcatcher coming out with a new light stick. Now, I've been waiting for this and waiting for this, and I don't know when it's going to come out, but I keep hearing that it's going to be February. I heard it was even back in January. I know that there is a clip of Guyon looking at the stick, and it might have been like maybe a production model, or maybe like the word escapes me now, but it's a really funny clip. I want to go to it. Gotta go back and do it again. Gotta share the audio so we can hear it. Oh, we are. Let's do it again. See the sound. It's like a staff.
약간 망토 같은 거 입어야 될 것 같아.
이렇게.
맞아.
여기 공에
It's like a Dreamcatcher staff. It's and it just fits along with the uniqueness of the group. Only they would pull off or do something like that, where they have a light staff. Okay, not a light stick, a light staff. And of course, it comes with a robe as well and everything. But I have been stalking their website, waiting for my opportunity to buy it. Rest assured, as soon as it becomes available, I am on it and I am buying that thing. I'm a little concerned, like at concerts and things like that, will people like be hitting each other with it, kind of just turning around and not, realizing how big the light stick is, and then end up knocking each other in the head. But you know what? For Dreamcatcher, it'd be worth it, because my dying wish, if I don't see any K-pop concerts, is to see a Dreamcatcher concert. Definitely want to see that. And I'm, when this whole thing blows over, and I hope that they start a strong tour, which, by the way, I think that if any group has the ability to break into the Western market, we all know that, other groups have done it before and everything, but they're really kind of looking for that foothold where you see more and more and more K-pop acts, into the Western market. They can do it. They're a group that can do that, because they can have an appeal to a Western market that will be more palatable for someone to take, and for someone to understand, and for someone to kind of really initially get into and be like, okay, wow, I didn't know it was like this. And then like I explained before, it broadens that person's horizons on, what K-pop could be. And it gets into the whole thing of, the frustration of insomnias, as far as, when are they going to get their first win and all those other types of things and everything. And for me, I would say that, uh, I think it's about time we just stop, worrying about the first win, because they may never get their first win. And, it doesn't mean that they're not good, you know, because I will say that, people have no qualms or no, dispute that Leonardo DiCaprio is a good actor. But yet the dude man's never won an Oscar. He's been in only one blockbuster, actually, if you think about it. But if think about his all of his movies and everything, all of them are good. All of them are entertaining, and he's good in all of them. He's everyone considers him a good actor, but he just hasn't gone and won the big one, his first one. So there's nothing wrong with that. Dreamcatcher just might have to settle for being, the best group out there to have never won, any kind of music shows. And at this point, it's really not really all that important, because everyone knows how talented they are. You can tell when they perform. Every song they put out, how they push their B-sides and perform their B-sides and things like that. There's no question in the fact that they are talented, and they're entertaining, and they know what they're doing when they get on stage, and they know what they're doing when they get in the studio. So it's not, at this point, it's really not that important for them to get their first win. Maybe to some groups it might be important to launch them, to kind of solidify them, to kind of set their flag and say, we are serious artists and things like that. Some groups might have to do that, get their first win, and or rack up wins or things like that. I would liken it to Twice. Now, Twice is definitely on a different scale as far as their popularity and their commercial appeal. A lot of people, think they're just commercial, and they're really not talented and whatever. I have many different, theories on that, and I disagree. Yes, they're very, very talented, very, very popular, and they take advantage of that. But if you look at Twice now, as far as Dreamcatcher now, Twice is not racking up a bunch of awards. They're not winning a whole crap ton of music shows. I mean, they got over 100 wins. They don't really need any more music shows. They're happy to be there and happy to be nominated, but they're actually more so just kind of doing things more for the fans. And that's what Dreamcatcher does. They really just dedicate themselves to the fans. They know that they're talented. They know what they're doing, and they know that they're gonna put out hit bop after bop after bop. And that's really all that's important, because the more and more people listen to them, and the more and more Insomnias expose other people to Dreamcatcher, the more people are going to have that first reaction where they sit and they go, wow, this is really surprising. I didn't expect this. This is better than I thought. And then they become obsessed. That's the next step in the Dreamcatcher disease, is that you kind of get exposed and then you get obsessed. You start trying to imbibe all of their content, and all of their content is entertaining, because the ladies have personality, and then the ladies have a charisma. And that's why I liken Dreamcatcher to Twice, because yes, Twice is popular and things like that, and they're very very commercial, very sold, they sell. But it's their personalities that sell, because they're not overly talented when they get on stage. No, they're not going to blow you away with vocals or anything else like that. And that's why a lot of people, haters, throw hate their way, because they go, why are they so popular? They're really not all that talented. It was because of their charisma on stage, on it and off of it. That appeals to people. So that's what makes them popular. Dreamcatcher, it's their appeal on and off stage. It's how they perform. It's how, it's how they carry themselves, which makes people who want to stand them continue to stand them, and then imbibe all of their content, any content that they can get. And that's my theory as it when it comes to their first win. It's not important. I don't care if they ever get their first win. Just keep Dreamcatcher. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're just gonna probably have to settle to be one of the greatest artists out there, like Leonardo DiCaprio, where every single time they're gonna release a song, it's gonna be bop, it's gonna be good, and it really doesn't matter what all the other industry people think or how many people can vote online because it's their loss. It's their loss. They are ahead of their time. And there's lots of musical acts out there who are across internationally who are tried and true industry solid blue chip people. Those groups are talented, and those groups have the ability to entertain and sell, but they never take home accolades, prizes, and things like that. They don't need it. In my eyes, they shouldn't even want it. It'd be nice, but if they never get it, it won't diminish their legacy, not one single bit, not one iota. So I am going to, because I've been waiting to do this for a long time. It actually came in the mail a while ago, and I've been waiting and waiting and waiting because I wanted to do an unboxing, but I've been waiting to open this for at least for maybe 4 weeks, maybe 5. It's been a while. It's been sitting back there. I've been waiting to unbox it, and I wanted to unbox it in front of you guys so you guys can experience the unboxing with me. So let's do it. First, let's do some lighting here. I didn't even realize I'm all off kilter. My lighting is not on. Yeah, my lighting is not on. I wanted to wear a different shirt. I don't even wear a different shirt. Anyway, so let's pop it open. This is supposed to be the limited edition version. It did come with a poster, which is I'm going to mount, but I'm going to mount it on a cardboard so that it can be flat like the other ones. It's so hard because when they ship those posters and they fold them, you get folds like my when I got the eyes wide open poster back there. They folded it so hard, it's hard to uncrease the folds out of there. You just can't get them out. But here we go. And I keep hitting the mic. I apologize. But here we go. We're going to open it up. We're going to see what is in it. First, I gotta figure out if it's like open. Oh, it opens like a book. Yeah. It's got a little tabule here on the side, I believe, that opens up. So let's move the camera a bit so we can see better. So we can see better. Looks like there is a really thick book. Like, this is a really thick book. Really thick photo book. Of course, we had to stop on my bias, Sion. Tons and tons of pictures. All sorts of, look at all of that. Got Handong. We've seen a couple of these around. Even more. I thought it was going to go into some writing, but we got even more. Yeah, if you ever. This is what the poster kind of looks like. It's the poster's got this sort of hue to it, that orange tinge. But I think it's 96 pages. And then in the backpack, it looks like there is lyrics in the backpack. Yep, more lyrics with the English in there too. So, and then your standard cards. Oops. So we have Queen Sua. Doesn't autofocus. I do that on purpose because if you put it on autofocus, it'll tend to knock you out of focus. Two more cards here. There's more. Oh, like a little 8x10 of our leader. Oh wow, what is this? I think this, you make your own Dreamcatcher. I think that's what this is because it's got the feather and it's got some strings, so you could probably knit it yourself. Will I ever? Nope, because I am not that good when it comes to stuff like that. But I think it's pretty cool. Let's see, there is. Oh, it's not coming out. Dump it out. There we go. Looks like some clear stickers. DIY kit. And then the CD, which will never leave the box. It'll get stuck. This will be the first and only time you'll see it come out of the box. But one thing I did an unboxing of Eyes Wide Shut, Eyes Wide Open. Oh, why is Eyes Wide Shut? That's a movie. And it was like the first K-pop album I bought. And I used to work in a record store, so I used to buy a lot of albums. But American albums, Western albums. I'm telling you, they need to get on what K-pop artists do, because if I'm going to buy a CD, I would pay more money to get all sorts of neat stuff in it, collectible things and books and stuff like that. It would be worth buying it than just to see. I still don't know why you can't do that or get that kind of stuff unless you buy a box set, and that usually only comes with artists that have been around for a while, so they can put a bunch of live stuff in it and everything. Like I had a Metallica box set. Still don't have it, but I have. Actually, don't even really have the physical CDs anymore because I burned them all to my computer. But this will be displayed behind me now and forever. And next to my other Dreamcatcher album back there. But I don't know why Western markets don't do it. I don't know why they don't sell, albums like that. It adds value, makes it so that you feel like you're getting something for your money. So, that's what makes it worth it. So again, the limited edition Road to Utopia Dreamcatcher album. So it's been sitting back there for like 5 weeks, and I finally got to chance to pop it open and open it. I've already listened to all of the songs. All the songs are great. All the songs are awesome. Poison Love is a good one. There's the other one. Wind Blows, is they're pushing that right now, and that's a good song too. So. And that's one thing about Dreamcatcher is they'll push their B-sides and they'll push their other songs on the album, which they can because they're all good. So so that, again, our girls, they definitely pull that off. So we're gonna get into why I think all of the Dreamcatcher music videos are all connected. Now, I know there's no really official theory out there. I think Dreamcatcher purposely leaves it ambiguous. Some videos, I think they do kind of explain a little bit of what's going on, but I think half the fun is interpreting the music videos yourself and finding the connections and the links and the story yourself and theorizing what you see. That's, for me, that's the fun part. So by all means, this is not the ultimate guide or the 100% published, this is what it all means. A lot of people can disagree or whatever, but it's just a friendly debate if you will, on how I think all of the music videos, every single one of them, oh, the major ones, there are some that I left out, but all the major ones, they're all linked. And yes, we have the Nightmare arc, and yes, there's the dystopia arc and everything. I think all of those are all connected. Even some of the ones that they did for video games and soundtracks and things like that. And we're gonna get into that. So we're gonna first start. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw up the video, no sound. We're not gonna really watch it, but I'm just gonna pick out key points of which I think they're trying to tell the story, that they're trying to tell us something, and how I interpreted it when I see it. And I use a lot of that dream interpretation. I use a lot of my background in psychology. I am a mental health counselor and everything, so I do study the mind. So I use a lot of that to kind of look through the lens of what I'm seeing. And of course, I'm going to start. We know the first video was Chase Me, but we're going to start with Fly High because everybody knows that Fly High is the prequel. So it just makes sense for us to start with Fly High because it lets us know, how the story begins. So I'm going to load this video up. Okay. And we're going to pause it. All right, so I'm going to leave myself small because seeing me is really not important, but seeing what we're seeing on the screen there is important. I've tried to write this several times, and I just end up writing too long. So it's probably best if I just freestyle this and just kind of go on the fly to try to explain the Dreamcatcher music video theory. So in Fly High, it's presumed that this is before the girls have turned into nightmares, and there's some debate on what they actually become, but we really don't have to like narrow it down to a certain thing. They become this. Just leave your mind open and abstract. It's more fun that way. So here we have the scene of Jiu. She's on the cliff. She's got butterflies around her. Now, keep in mind, butterflies, they tend to signify hope and future hope and opportunity in dreams. So she's surrounded by blue butterflies. So here you can assume that she is happy and healthy and not cursed, to say. The mansion and/or castle. Hopefully my voice doesn't go out. Is featured throughout. We don't really know what all of this, what the house means or whatever, but that's really not all that important. What's important in this video is the story that we're trying to tell. They're trying to tell the girls succumbing to the curse. And the theory that I go by is when you follow the video, a lot of the scenes are not in order, and you can kind of take them in and out of order, but follow the dead eye stare, because the dead eye stare, whenever a member does it, you can assume that they've been consumed by the curse that is on the house and on the spider and everything else like that. So in the very beginning, they kind of really show them happy, and just after this dance break, the scene here I believe is important because it shows them in regular clothes. They're not in their uniform, all dressed together. They're in different street clothes, and they seem to be happy and smiling and full of emotion. And this was obviously before the curse took hold. So you can theorize that this is before the curse took hold. Everybody knows GU sees the spider and captures the spider. That's not in debate. And we know that the curse comes from the spider. So she captures it, she brings it in. Here you can kind of start to see things are starting to go wrong. Now, we all know Yuhan burns the spider, but it's shown in the middle of the video, and we can assume that maybe this could have happened before way before all the members started to turn, or in the middle. Whatever it was, burning the spider was consequential in what happened to them. When it shows each member here, almost every member except Gaon and Handong are shown trying to escape or try to get away, not necessarily running in all cases, but at some point they need to get away. They're noticing that they can't be here and they need to leave. And we have Sua and Sion, and they're walking down that pathway. Walking down that pathway, and I think I just went past like an important part. This is going to be hard because I can't really like. I think at this part when she brings it in is when it actually kind of just starts to take hold. Everything that starts to happen to them starts to take hold. Jiyu seeing herself playing the piano. We have Gaon, seems like she's trapped in a room. Sua and Sihan walking backwards. Now, people have said that what's with her holding the toy, or the Sihan holding the bear. The bear or a toy in dreams signifies attachment, parental attachment, and the need to be attached securely to a nurturing environment. When you see that in dreams. So her holding the child's toy, the teddy bear, is almost like her still holding on to her innocence, to her childhood. And while she has it, she is, normal Sihan, but, you see that them walking backwards, it's like they were, walking backwards. It's like they're regressing from walking away from the mansion. That there is really not on the nose, but when you see the rest of it, it seems like it kind of interprets it along with it. Obviously, we see Gaon gets taken by, everyone knows it's probably the spider lady. She gets taken. We never really see her, like transform or even try to escape. It seems like she gets the first to go. Here, Handong, you see her. She's outside. She's got that dead eye stare, and she's flying a black paper airplane. She seems like she's the next to go. She's the next to be consumed by what is going on in the house. The weird behavior with them, eating together and only eating flowers. This might be like long after everything has taken hold, because everyone is sitting there. All 7 members are sitting there. And all 7 members are obviously under a spell. So this is not, you can assume that this is probably happening well after, not anytime in the middle. Here is an interesting scene that they show. Mirrors in dreams signify how you see yourself or what you see inside yourself. So, with Yuhyun walking up to the mirror and then touching it and the black ooze coming out, it is signifying a darkness inside of her that she is seeing. And I think this will play out through all the other videos, because you'll see that there's a struggle between Jiyu and Yuhyun, with not good and evil, just a power struggle. They seems like they're the 2 main characters in this entire story. Her touching the mirror and the mirror showing blackness is almost like revealing to her that there's a darkness inside of her. Dami seems like she's the only one, or at least the first one, that starts to get into reading these books and getting into this occult type thing. No other members really do that except her in the very beginning. So, her role is kind of being established there, that, without us really even kind of realizing it. And we see at some point Jiyu realizes she's got to go. She's got to leave. She's running. Throughout the last half of the video, there's scenes of her running away. She's trying to get away. This is interesting here because this sometimes gets unnoticed, where Yuhyun is at some point she's trying to escape. When she looks back, dead eye stare. She's completely engulfed. She's gone. She's part of the cult now. So, she's going to be, one of the last ones to succumb to the curse or the spell. As you see her walking back, more scenes of Hung Dong, under in the dead eye stare. All the girls have been taken into this hold of the curse. And this important point here where everyone notices, I want people to kind of look at this scene here and see that there's like a difference. There's a subtle difference here, and I don't know if they did it on purpose or maybe they didn't. But when you burn something with a magnifying glass, you're holding it up to the sun. She's not holding it up to the sun. She's holding it up to her face. If the sun is coming in from the window, you're not going to burn anything with a magnifying glass catching the rays if the magnifying glass is not in front of the rays or in front of the window. They're actually over her face. And when she looks into it and smiles, that's when the spider begins to burn. Maybe it's an energy inside of her she's using to destroy the spider. Maybe not. We'll see. But I just think that that's an interesting way to shoot that. We all know she burns the spider. That's what sets everything off. The interesting thing is after she burns the spider, watch GU's butterflies. After they burn away too. And we all, like we discussed before, butterflies signify hope and a positive future. They burn shortly after Yuhyun burns the spider. So, we can blame Yuhyun for, kind of being the major person that kind of set them on this path. A lot of people say GU shuts the gate to lock them in. I disagree. She's trying to run away. She's trying to get away from what's happening to everybody else. The reason why I don't think she shuts the gate to lock everybody in like a sacrificial thing is this stare here. She's obviously being taken over by the curse at this point because she's the last one to show that stare. Everyone else has done it already, except Kyon. She was kind of off camera, but her taking was very literal. The hand going over her face was very literal. There's no question that something happened to Kyon. But that stare there is not the stare of a person of, hey, I still got my full faculties. I still got my full fight. I'm not under the spell. I'm making a conscious decision to lock us in here to save the rest of the world. I disagree. I think that she was trying to get away, but at the very last moment, she got the dead eye stare. As you see, she shuts the gate and then turns around with that same stare. And then the last words are trapped in the nightmare. She didn't escape. She wasn't fast enough. She wasn't strong enough. She shut the gate because the curse won and finally took her. So that's my theory on Fly High and why I believe that, they were cursed and GU didn't seal them in for as like a sacrificial thing. She sealed them in because she was finally taken. If she was trying to trap them in there as far as to save the world from them or whatever, then you would see her fighting throughout the other videos, like going against the other groups, the other members and the other Dreamcatchers. But she never is. She's always on the same page with all of them. In fact, she's leading them, through everything. So she's definitely not in control of it. She's under the curse. She's under the spell. Just an interesting, the cut of the picture, but I noticed that when the girls dance around here, they're forming a 5-sided pentagram. You can draw it. 5-sided pentagram. That's what they're forming. So Fly High really kind of sets the scene for everything else that happens after that. And Chase Me, we all know that Chase Me, they are fully engulfed in the spell. They're fully doing their Dreamcatcher thing. This guy, Ghost Hunter, I'm going to go through this really quickly because everybody, there's really no debate of what's going on here. He's being tortured by them. They're existing in the dream world. They're torturing him. He's trying to find them, and they're doing their thing. They're tormenting him in his dreams, giving him nightmares throughout the entire thing. Again, Dami is the one that is the most versed at this point in doing rituals. You see, she's in the middle of this ritual circle. The only important point I like to point out in Chase Me is that in the end, I believe that they're trying to lead him into a particular room. They need to get him into a particular room. And I think that's why Yu-Hyun does the whole trickery of changing the room numbers where he bursts into that room with the axe. I think that they were trying to get him into that room because there's something about that room. Getting him in there so that they can kind of mess with him. Chase Me is pretty straightforward. It's not in debate there. But Good Night is something else entirely. Good Night, I believe, as I try to cue it up. Good Night shows that the girls are maybe the reason why they were trying to get Homeboy in the room. They're not all together. Sua and Kion is trapped. They're trapped. We know that. We see them, in the video. They need to free those two from the spells that they're under. Who cast them on them? I don't know. Some people have said he cast them on them, but you really don't see him doing any casting. You do see him looking through the pages and seeing the books, but you don't really see him casting any spells on them. But they are being chased. There's like when you're being chased in the dream it signifies prosecution, that you're being persecuted. So they're running. You see, get a better picture of them. So you see Sion and Yuyeon running through the forest. They're being chased by these masked people, and because they're not all together, they're weaker. So they have to, these masked people are not. When I first saw this, I thought it was them. I thought, they were wearing masks, but these are obviously were not dream catchers. They were, people, other people, maybe witch hunters or ghost hunters or whomever, but they were chasing them, and they were trying to get away from them. I'm going to show. He obviously, he sees the book, he gets the book, he reads the book, and he sees that, Kion is trapped, forever falling. There, she's trapped in a spell where she's forever falling. Sua is trapped in a spell of being, surrounded by those tree arms that have trapped her and everything. So, those two are not, are not with them as strong as they could be. They're being binded by these spells, and they have to try to figure out how to get them out of there. To get the book from the guy. Maybe the guy had the book and he brought it in. Who knows? I would think maybe he had the book and he brought it in, and that's why they lured him in there. Or maybe the books were there to begin with, and they needed a connection through him to get to that dimension where the book is, because obviously they're in like a parallel. And that was shown in Chase Me because he was trying to film them and they weren't being visible. He could see them, but he couldn't film them. So, obviously they're not in the same plane or in the same dimension as he is. Maybe the stronger the connection, the more they mess with him and everything. And they were able to develop a connection to be able to get the book from him and cast a spell to finally break Sua and Kion free from their plights. Dami is the one who reaches and gets the book, if I remember correctly. Yeah, she's the one who reaches and gets the book. because she's the one that knows how to do that kind of stuff. She's the one that leads them in most of their rituals in the beginning. So why would she be the first person to grab the book, or the one to grab the book, and the one to help lead them into the spells that end up breaking Sua and Kion free from the binds, and then destroying the books around them, and then trapping him, because he's the one that can probably, maybe track them down or warn people or whatever. But obviously they saw him as a danger, so they had to bind or trap him. So the good night's pretty straightforward. Not a lot of disagreement there. But I do think, like I said, is that they were being chased. The Dreamcatchers were being persecuted, and there were two Dreamcatchers down, and they had to find a way to unbind them. And maybe through the Ghost Hunter was a way to get into that universe to unbind them, and to use him to get the book. But they end up dropping and or losing the book. Some people say that they drop it on purpose, but it doesn't look like a drop on purpose. It looks almost like a drop on accident. But either that, it's really not that important. They don't need the book anymore. So, they're free. They're free to do whatever. They're free to get into, the current dimension and do what they want to do. So it's like a crossover as well into being just specters in dreams, now people in real life. So that's what I think. You and I, who we're queuing next, of course, happens right after that. And a lot of this one, I think, is probably the most saddest one, in my opinion, because if the way I interpret it, everything comes back around. We all know that the Spider Lady comes back. The common conception, or the common perception, is that they are operating this photo studio and they're doing spells on people, and this is evident by Sion developing the picture and then burning it. At this point, it's hard to really match it there. At this point, when they're developing pictures and then burning the pictures, they're messing with people. They're casting spells, so they're not necessarily good people, or out there being heroines. They're causing mischief and trouble. GU is running through the hallways of the video the whole time, and there's a reason for that, because once, trying to get to the point, there she is. Once, we all know the Spider Lady comes back after GU. I'm sorry, after Yukon, and exacts revenge on her. What happens now, I think, and this is my theory, she ends up possessing or inserting a darkness into Yukon. She seems to be the one that can kind of absorb that kind of stuff. Once she's been consumed, you see there's a ritual. There's two different rituals that the Dreamcatchers do. There's one that they do in the house, and there's one that they do in the snowy place. The one they do in the house, I believe, is the first one when they realize that Yukon has been afflicted. That's the one that they do at the snowy place. This one, I believe, are two separate rituals. This one, I believe, happens first. This is when I believe that they're trying to get the spirit out of Yukon. And you see the spirit rises out of Yukon. Problem is, the spirit ends up chasing GU up and down the hallways. So you can assume at that point that the spirit that they've released has become too much trouble. So then they decide to do a second one. And the reason why I think it's a second one and not just, one in the house and then an alternate view of what's actually going on, is that when they're doing the one at this is the part here where we see GU being chased by that spirit. The reason why I think it's a second one is because at this point there, that scene right there, she's raising her hand to take the spirit back into herself again. So, they're the first one was to get the spirit out. The second one was when they realized that the spirit was causing too much trouble and they had to bind her. Now, these are two theories of thought that you can probably take from this. Either Yuhyun knew what they were going to do and Yuhyun was going to sacrifice herself, and she was well aware of this, or two, Yuhyun did not know that the rest of the dream catchers were going to bind the spirit in her and bind her in this other dimension to rid themselves of the curse and the dark spirit all at one time. I believe that Yuhyun did not know, and this is why I believe so, is because shortly after she takes in the spirit, she's running to the portal as though to return back to the normal world or back to the normal plane, and it closes on her. And not just that point, but this point here where GU closes Yuhyun's eyes as though to shield her from what the dream catchers are actually going to do, or their intentions actually are. Closing her eyes there makes the most sense when you think about it in that way, because they knew that they could not defeat or handle the spirit once it was out of Yuhyun. And the only way to get rid of it was to have Yuhyun take it back in, because I believe she's the cipher of the group. She can actually, she absorbs a lot of what goes on around her. She did it in Deja Vu, and she did it, here in this video, and I believe she absorbed the most of the darkness in Fly High. Why she touched the mirror, and the mirror bled black ooze. Binding her was the best option, and Jihu had to make that decision to do so. And that's why I think in the next video, in what you see, that the only person who actually sees Yuhyun, a vision of Yuhyun is Jiyu. She's the only one. All the rest of them are, they're running through various scenes, various places and everything. But the only person who actually sees Yuhyun is Jiyu, and she seems the most tormented, maybe because of the guilt of what she had to do to Yuhyun for the sake of the other dream catchers. But Yuhyun is actually, I believe she's still stuck in that other dimension here, and it's that dimension is starting to come apart, because towards the end the colors are fading and the colors are becoming blurred, and her world is becoming increasingly more chaotic. But right here, Jiyu is the only person that sees Yuhyun. All the rest don't really get a vision of her. You can assume that they might be thinking about her, but even the words are going, why can't I reach you? Why can't, you're still in my dream, and, I can't reach you, and things like that. It's like they're calling out to her, or she's calling out to them. So, I believe what is like that after effect of, they're dealing with the guilt of what happened and what they had to do to Yuhyun to save themselves. Piri is definitely it's one of my favorite videos. I enjoy it, but I believe that it was Yuhyun trying to, there's nothing but white now. her world is colorless and formless now, which seems like it was beginning to happen back in what her world, the colors are blending and bleeding away. Now her world is just white, colorless, and formless. She's obviously trapped. She's the only one there, in the beginning of the video. She touches the horn lets out a horn, and then oozes out black liquid, same kind of black liquid that came out when she touched the mirror. I believe that she unintentionally or intentionally starts to pull each one of the members back into her world where she's at by kind of introducing dreams or nightmares into them, them, dealing with different imagery. Siyeon running through the hallways here, and then coming to a point where she gets, no matter where she goes or where she runs, of course she can't escape. And then at the end, her up against the wall and a hand reaches out. That's Yuhyun. I believe that's Yuhyun reaching out to Sion, and her being absolutely terrified at what she's seeing. And it seems to happen one by one. All of the members either get taken directly, but it seems as though, because here in the Hongdong is around a bunch of clocks, maybe signifying all the time that has passed, that whatever they've done to Yuhyun that have passed and they haven't done anything. Gayan is around a bunch of phones, maybe talking about how she hasn't spoken about her since what happened. But ultimately, in the end, I believe in this video, GU trying to struggle with the guilt of what she's done, having to look at herself. In the end, there's actually some scenes where there a hand comes out. Of course, here with Dami, a hand comes out and grabs them. It's very literal. But I believe she ends up bringing them all into the world in which she was initially banished. Why? The ending shot kind of just shows it all. The ending shot with them holding hands. The only thing that makes sense. They're all together. They're all been pulled into this world with Yuhyun, and that's now they have to find a way out. And a little known video, Breaking Out, it's in the title, shows them. I have to share it on the other screen. Don't have a video of it, but I want to share it on the other screen. Share screen, boom, share. They're in that same colorless white void. And throughout the video, they're singing in this colorless white void. In some places, the world starts to get a little bit of color, but the premise of this video, I believe, is them reaching out to each other to know that they can only get out of this world or out of the situation they are in together if they let go and reach for each other. As you see that they start to do at the end of the video, they're reaching for each other. They can only get out together. And I believe this signifies them breaking out of the colorless void that they are in. Now, do they return to a normal plane? I don't think so. I think they return to something else. The Dreamcatcher world is very, you can't take it too literal. You got to kind of think outside the box. And that's why I think that deja vu happens the way it does happen, because it's like them having to deal with and reckon with everything that they've done to each other, especially GU and Yuhyun, showing the different the different points in which they are betraying each other. But the reason why I think that this deja vu is even connected into the nightmare arc is just this beginning shot here, her coming and sitting down, and then guess what envelops her? The darkness. Maybe calling back to everything that she's done before up to this point. Is starting to get the better of her again. And them not being able to let go of the past. GU, standing over, Yuhyun with the sword, maybe signifying something like a little bit of what she had to do to her and UNI when she binded her. It just seems like throughout the video, there's this hint of distrust among all of them. They're all looking at each other and like untrusting, looks and glances and things like that. It really kind of shows them trying to deal with whatever is going on between all of them, everything that they've done before in the past and how they've gotten to this point. And you know, this part, the last part here, everybody loves this part. I love this part too. It's just so elegant. You know, GU finally just letting go. You know, letting go of the guilt, letting go of the pain, um, of everything, and that's why I think Hung Dong's world of Hung Dong's line of holding this pain, you know, is relevant in this scene. GU letting go of the guilt of what she did to Yuhyun and everything else like that. She's letting go. She's willing to forgive. Unfortunately, Yuhyun is not willing to forgive. Um, Yuhyun still, you know, is misguided, and I think at this point here, as she, you know, seems to betray all of the members, I believe that she takes a position, pretty much a position of power, when she takes the power away from GU, as you know, in the betrayal. And her sitting on the throne in the end, it's like she's taking charge or taking the lead of the rest of the Dreamcatchers, while kind of not banishing GU, but minimizing her role. And that's why her sitting at the end on the throne and everything around her is in chaos, because of, you know, her, you know, taking that lead. I think that this video is even connected to Rose Blue. I won't go too much into Rose Blue because I'm already into an hour of this broadcast. But Rose Blue, if you look at Rose Blue, GU for some reason is separated from all of them. Well, why? Why is she separated from all of them? I believe she's separated from all of them because of what happened in Deja Vu. Yuhyun is kind of taking the lead of the Dreamcatchers and had led them into some trouble. You know, they're in this crystal, they're trapped in this dream world, and GU decides to not hunt them down, but track them down and set things straight. You know, and do what she thinks is necessary to save all of them and put them all, you know, back on the right track. And it's just the symbolism of her finding each member and each world. You know, Yuhyun, she comes to Yuhyun first. If you notice, when she sees the crystal, she walks up to the crystal. Who does she look at first? She looks at Yuhyun first. She could have looked at anybody first, but she looked at Yuhyun first, and she came to Yuhyun first in the crystal. You know, it's because of the connection or the fight or the struggle between the two of them. Yuhyun seems to be trapped in a world of orderly disorder. You know, there's knowledge and everything in the background, but everything is in chaos. Maybe the knowledge that she's kind of gained, she just can't harness it, and you know, it's still in chaos. You know, she still can't kind of get it together. And then it shows. Well, we're seeing this when she walks up to the crystal, and we're pausing. When she walks into the crystal, like I said, she walks up to, you know, the first person we see is she walks up to Yuhyun. Sion seems to be trapped in a world with TVs around her. TVs usually signify outside world. They usually signify media and everything else like that. She seems to be trapped in a world where the outside world is kind of just beating her down. And as you see, she's holding a toy, the same kind of toy that she was holding in Fly High. Loss of innocence, loss of positive nurturing connectability. You know, she seems to be trapped in a world where she's being tormented by the outside world. She's not happy. You can see. Sua's chained. She's struggling against something she can't escape from. The chains are securely binded to her. She's not going to escape. There's too many of them, but yet she still struggles and she still fights. Even though she'll never be able to get free of those chains because there's just too many. Like I said, when she goes into the crystals, she sees Yuhyun first. Dami's trapped in this gold place. You would think, hey, you know what? She's got it made. You know, she should be happy. Well, I think it has a lot to do with the fact that she is trapped in a place where, you know, decadence and gold and having doesn't mean anything anymore. She's not happy. She's got really kind of like a matter of fact stare going on. but when she goes to each one of them, and Guyon seems to be trapped in a world of desolate waste, and she frees them all, and they all kind of approach this moment of death in the dream in different ways. Yuhyun seems to be facing it with acceptance and reserve. She's just accepting her fate. She just knows this is what's going to happen. Dami is indecent. She's indignant. She doesn't care because she's in a world of decadence that means nothing. So everything has lost meaning. So she shows absolutely no emotion at the point of death. Sion is avoidant. She doesn't even want to look anymore. She is avoidant. She just wants to crawl into a hole and escape everything that is tormenting her. So she faces death with avoidance. Sua faces death with fight, and with a hopeless struggle, a struggle that she knows she can't win, but she just can't stop fighting. Maybe she needs to stop fighting. And then Guyon is probably the most saddest. She's in a desolate wasteland where she's completely by herself and alone, and she welcomes death because anything is better than being alone. So I think that's it kind of shows those different types of ways that people can kind of face death. And we know Jiyu pulls the trigger. She gets trapped in the crystal. I think eventually she does get out. It doesn't really show us how she gets out, but her sacrifice kind of wins them back over again, because I think that's when she retakes command or leadership of the Dreamcatchers after that. Maybe there's another video later on that shows how she gets out. We all know that sometimes those videos are out of order. This is longer than I expected, so this is what I'm going to do. I wanted to get into Scream and Boca and Odd Eye, but I'm not going to do that because then I would be talking forever. So I am going to kind of end it here and maybe do another live where I explain how I believe Scream, Boca, and Odd Eye actually kind of loosely tie into the rest of these. Again, like I said, these are just theories. These are fun to think about. When you watch videos and you see imagery and you see them try to tell a story, it always doesn't have to be black and white, black or white. Black. It can be interpretive. You can look into something and you can see what does that seem to mean to me. And it's a whole lot more fun when you can theorize different things. I'm not saying by any means, by any stretch of the imaginations, that this is the end all be all guide of music videos and how you interpret Dreamcatcher videos. This is just what I think. And when I watch it in that manner, it's way more enjoyable to see the way things kind of just seem to be connected, seem to be out there, because every story's got to have main characters, and Yuhyun and Jiyu are the main characters in this arc. And watching the struggle between the two of them throughout all of the videos and the connection that they seem to have throughout all the videos is an interesting story to tell. That's the only way you're going to tell a story, if you have main characters. So that's why I believe that's why this is my theory seems to be the one that is the most enjoyable to undertake and understand and everything. It's fun to watch Dreamcatcher videos. They're acting and everything just is spot on. So I want to thank everybody for taking the time hanging out with me for an hour talking about Dreamcatcher, because Dreamcatcher is just one of the best groups out there. And I did Odd Eye reaction and I did a performance reaction. I just totally enjoyed it. Unfortunately, they're just not coming out with a whole bunch of stuff because groups don't come out with songs every day. That's just not what groups do. I really wish they could. I really wish I could have a new Dreamcatcher come back every day, if at least not every other day. So finding Dreamcatcher content and being able to display that to you guys and having a talk about it is fun. So like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to do like I did before on my other live. I'm going to cut some highlights and then release them out, because sometimes people can't sit down for an hour and watch a video. Look out for the cuts and everything for the different portions of this video. If you guys enjoyed it, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys' theory is, because it's fun. I learn a lot from other people when they bring stuff and I go, wow, I didn't see it that way. And then that just adds to the theory and the lore. So share down below what you guys think the Dreamcatcher series and music videos mean to you and what the story they were trying to tell. Like, share, subscribe, like I said before. And as always, you guys could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that.